Hello, Monetization Nation. I'm Nathan Gwilliam, your host, and today we're going to talk about 9 ways to monetize a podcast. So many of us already have an online show, or we would like to create an online show, and we are trying to figure out how to turn that podcast into a viable business, or at least a viable side hustle. Did you know that 41% of Americans listen to podcasts monthly, according to Convince and Convert, and 16 million people in the U.S. are avid podcast fans? Source for that is PodcastHosting. Not only are a lot of people consuming podcasts, but it's very rapidly growing, and there are people who have been very successful at monetizing their podcasts. For example, John Lee Dumas from Entrepreneurs on Fire generated $217,000 last month. That's December of 2021 from his podcast. So Podcast Magazine surveyed 1,000 podcast hosts and found that the majority of them, or 54%, earned income by selling sponsorships on the air, and 42% made money through premium content. And the date for that survey was 2018. We can do this as well. We can monetize our podcasts. In fact, it's getting easier to monetize podcasts as more and more opportunities for monetization are presenting themselves. So let's go through some of those opportunities right now. I think the best way to monetize our podcast, number one, is to sell our own products and services. Normally, when I have a product or service and I want to sell it to someone, I do a cold outreach and I contact that person and try to make a sale as a salesperson. But nobody likes salespeople. And a podcast presents a much better opportunity, a much more effective way to do that. With a podcast, we can invite our potential customers as guests on the show. We can build relationships with them. We can help them to know and like and trust us, and make them much more receptive to the message we have to share. Then we're approaching them from the law of reciprocity, where we've already given them value, instead of approaching them as a cold salesperson. So selling our products and services to the guests of the show can be effective. It can also be very effective to sell our products and services to the audience on the show, who are coming to know and like and trust us as well. And there's many different ways we can do this. If we were an outdoor company that sold pergolas and we did a show about creating beautiful backyards, we could sell our pergolas to the listeners of the show. The second strategy for monetizing our show is memberships and subscriptions. And there's 2 different directions we can go with this. We can create a membership that has exclusive content for people that pay for membership. For example, maybe you show part of the interview for free and then the rest of the interview paid, or you give behind the scenes access, or you have an early access or a Q&A time period with the guest that isn't part of the free version. Maybe you have an ad-free version. Figure out a different way to give premium content or additional content to those people who subscribe. For example, the Crime Junkie podcast is one of the top podcasts on Patreon. For every $5, they give their listeners a monthly bonus episode, early access, and audio extras. At $10, patrons get all that plus discounts, stickers, and a mini episode. And for $20, patrons get everything from the first 2 tiers, plus a special monthly headlines episode, the ability to vote on episodes, and much more. The source for that is Patreon. Another example of a membership done really well by a show is Podcaster's Paradise. And this is operated by John Lee Dumas, the host of Entrepreneurs on Fire. Podcaster's Paradise is a membership site that he offers to podcasters, where he teaches them how to more effectively run and grow and monetize their show. And I believe John Lee Dumas has earned more than $7 million operating Podcaster's Paradise, charging subscribers $97 a month to participate. The third strategy for monetizing our podcast is through information products. There's a lot of different information products, from ebooks to online courses to guides to worksheets, just different ways that we can take information and productize them and sell them digitally to our customers. Did you know that according to improvedpodcast.com, e-courses surpassed $200 billion in revenue and are on path to reach $325 billion by 2025. A fourth strategy for monetizing our podcast is through affiliate marketing. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this. This is one of those areas that's maybe better than nothing, but it's probably not going to make you a ton of money. Affiliate marketing is where you get an affiliate code from another business, and you don't get paid for running advertising on a flat rate from that business. You put in that tracking code, you promote the business, and you get paid a percentage of each person that buys from that tracking code, or at least in theory you should. The problem is a lot of those tracking codes use cookies, and there's a lot of ways that sales cannot be tracked. For example, if they clear their cookies, or if they go from one device to another device, there's a lot of ways where affiliates maybe don't get all of the income from the sales that they introduced to a company. However, the last 2 months, I've received $2,000 payments each month from an affiliate that I wasn't expecting. And so to get a $2,000 check that you weren't expecting, yeah, that's definitely better than nothing. As an estimate, if your podcast has about 10,000 downloads per episode, you can make between $500 and $900 per episode in affiliate sales. And the source for that is the best media. One of the most effective affiliate or type of affiliate programs to include are the affiliate programs of your guests. So for example, if you had Russell Brunson on your show, who's the CEO, or he's the founder of ClickFunnels, and you included an affiliate link for ClickFunnels, that would be very effective, because the people who are interested in buying, you provide them a link and you get a percentage of sales. And as an aside, ClickFunnels, according to people that I've talked to, is one of the best affiliate programs out there. They pay a high percentage and they pay a recurring revenue stream in perpetuity. SEMrush is another one that's done well for me. So as a side note, make sure you do not promote anything that you don't actually like, or anything that your audience would actually like. Don't promote anything that you wouldn't be proud of. Only promote the products that would also be related to your topic and your audience. Keep them very targeted. But be aware, it's hard to make a lot of money this way. You probably are not going to be able to quit your day job from affiliate programs. Some people can, but it's usually not the case. If you do choose to go down the route of affiliate programs, and my site does have affiliate links on it, make sure you do the proper disclosures so you don't get in trouble, and try to pick affiliate programs that pay you a high percentage commission. Don't go with affiliate programs that pay you 10% or something like that. It's just a lot harder for that to become profitable. ClickFunnels, for example, pays a 40% commission. And I also recommend selecting the affiliate programs that pay on a perpetual monthly basis. So for example, ClickFunnels pays you every month going forward that customer stays with ClickFunnels. The fifth strategy for monetizing a podcast is sponsorships and advertising. This is a strategy that doesn't work at the beginning when you're small. It's very hard to sell sponsorships and advertising when you don't have a lot of reach. And even if you did sell it, the amount of revenue that you generated might not be worth your time to go sell it. So this is a strategy that works once you've grown and achieved a sizable amount of reach and traffic. So when you do go this route and you're large enough to pursue sponsorships and advertising, the amount of money you generate depends on the CPM, or cost per thousand. It's how many ads you have on an episode. The advertising rates currently can range from $20 to $100 CPM. For example, if your podcast has 100,000 downloads and you charge advertisers $30 CPM for an ad, then if you had one ad per episode, you'd make $3,000 per episode. According to the best media, quote, as a general reference, once your subscriber numbers grow to at least 5,000 per episode, you can start charging for advertising space on your show. So again, going back, this isn't something you can do at the beginning, but you can definitely pursue as it takes off. And for some of the largest podcasters, this is one of their largest streams of income. Once you do have enough traffic and you do choose to go down the sponsorship and advertising route, there are podcast advertising networks you can join, such as Podcorn, Podgrid, Midroll, and AdvertiseCast. If you're too small now to go down the path of advertising and sponsorships, there is something you should do now. And this is an insider secret. There is a strategy for ad insertion called dynamic ad insertion. And instead of selling an ad on an episode that is always statically on that episode for the next 10 years, there's a different way to do it. You can dynamically insert an ad. So when you sell an ad this month, it can show across all of your back episodes and all of your downloads this month. That's dynamic ad insertion. And if you start inserting those codes now, then when you are large enough and you sell an ad, it can go across all of your back issues and not just the current episode you're publishing. The sixth way to monetize your podcast is by selling merch. Put up an e-commerce store. There's lots of different ways to do this. I highly recommend, if you're going this direction, that you create a marketplace, not just a store. With a marketplace, you can allow other vendors in your industry to sell products in your store that you don't have to inventory and you don't have to fulfill, but you can generate the revenue and pay them their percentage. A lot of podcasters put their logo or they put their key phrases that resonate with their audience on merchandise like shirts, mugs, socks, hats, etc. And there's companies like PodSwag that can help you do this. The seventh strategy for monetizing your podcast is to charge guests. Again, this is a strategy that doesn't work unless you're really big, but there are a few podcasts that have done this very effectively and made a lot of money with this strategy. For example, the podcast Screw the 9 to 5 does this. You can pay currently $997 to get on their show. The eighth strategy for monetizing your podcast is repurposing your content. And this may not seem like a direct advertising strategy, but it can be relatively effective. So for example, with Monetization Nation, we don't just publish a podcast, but we also repurpose our content in many different ways where we can monetize through those other channels. For example, we put a video version of our podcast up on YouTube, or we create a blog for our podcast and publish that on our website and on Medium and other places. And when you publish in those other mediums, you open yourself up to generating revenue from those other mediums. You create opportunities, for example, to generate advertising on your YouTube videos or graphical or text ads on your blog posts. So look at diversified monetization opportunities from your repurposed content. And the ninth and final monetization opportunity that we're going to talk about today from your podcast is crowdfunding and donations. Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee are two platforms you can use for crowdfunding as a podcaster. For example, Chapo Trap House covers American politics and uses Patreon. In addition to just donating, their donors also get access to premium content. They offer two tiers, both of which offer access to weekly premium episodes and the entire back catalog. And the source for that is Patreon. Now, again, this is a strategy that you can follow once you've built a following of loyal fans. So as a quick recap, here are the 9 ways to monetize a podcast that we talked about today. Number 1, sell your own products and services to your guests and your listeners. Number 2, sell memberships and subscriptions. Number 3, sell information products such as courses. Number 4, look into affiliate marketing. Number 5, sponsorships and advertising. Number 6, sell merchandise. Number 7, charge guests if you're large enough. Number 8, repurpose your content and open yourself up to diversified revenue from other platforms. And number 9, consider crowdfunding and donations. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode, and I wish you success as you monetize your podcast. Do you want to become a better digital monetizer? To receive great monetization stories and secrets, please go to monetizationnation.com and join free. And if you liked today's episode, please subscribe to the show and share it.